My name is Deepti. I am an international mathematics teacher with over 17 years of experience. In this video, I will cover the entire topic in details. So stay tuned till the end. Thank you. Yes, so today's topic is comparing like fractions, right? So how you will compare the like fraction? As you know it, what is like fraction? Like fractions are when denominators are same, we call it the like fraction, right? So suppose 3 over 8 and 5 over 8. These two are the like fraction. As you know it, denominator is same. So definitely 5 will be numerator, greater numerator will be greater fraction. Okay, so 5 is the greater number. That's why this is the greater. But we take 3 and 5 parts respectively out of the 8 equal parts. The portion correspondingly of to 5 parts is larger than the portion corresponding to 3 parts. That's why 5 is greater than 3. Okay? Note that the number of parts taken is given by the numerator. Clear that for two fractions with the same denominator, the fraction with the greater numerator is greater. Okay? Okay. The same thing, this is the comparison between two numbers. Suppose we have, this is the example number 1. Example number 2, when we have more than two fractions, like fractions. 2 over 7, 6 over 7, 5 over 7 and 3 over 7. These are also like fraction. Now you have to find the greater fraction. What will be the greater fraction among 4? 6. Yes, right? So, among two fractions with the same denominator, the one with the greater numerator is the greatest fraction, right? But the same thing apply for the this one, right? And the same question, suppose we have to uh, uh, arrange in the ascending or descending, right? So you can arrange it accordingly, right? What is the ascending order? Ascending order or increasing order? Both are same, right? So increasing order means smallest to greatest, absolutely. So what will be the smallest one? 2 over 7, right? Then 3 over 7, then 5 over 7, and then 6 over 7. All right? The same thing when we need to arrange in descending order or decreasing order. Both are same, greatest to smallest, right? As you know it. So, which one is the greatest? Definitely 6 over 7, then 5 over 7, then 3 over 7, then 2 over 7, right? Understood? So, how you will compare two fractions? If denominators are same, then greater numerator will be greater. Okay? Between two. When we have more than two fraction, the same concept will apply. The question comes like, uh, which is the largest, which is the greatest fraction? So you can easily find it. Which is the smallest fraction? You can easily find it. You arrange in ascending or descending order. You can easily arrange ascending and descending with the like fractions. Okay? Got it? So now we are learning comparing unlike fractions. Okay, first we are compare two fractions, two unlike fractions, and see the three uh three part. Okay, so yes, we will compare the unlike fraction with the cross multiplication method. There is a three ways. I explain all three. First, second, third. See, we have always, see, when we compare the two numbers, right, it easy to what? If your number is 5 and 3, you know it 5 is greater, right? If we number is 2 and 7, then 7 is greater. If the number is 4 equals to 4. So there is a 3 category na? Less than, more than and equal. Same in the fractions, we have 3 categories. You will get your number maybe less than, maybe more than or equal. So there are 3 categories. First, suppose your number is, so I'm giving the format first, okay? So the number is 3 over 10 and 12 over 40. 5 over 11 and 4 over 9. And the third is 4 over 5 and 6 over 7. Now, we need to find the greater one between two. Now, we'll use it a cross multiplication method, which is very easy. No need to make denominator same, nothing. We just compare the two fractions, okay? So, in this, what you will do? This numerator, you will multiply with this denominator, and this numerator, you will multiply with this denominator. Denominator multiply with numerator. So, how? 3 times 40 and this 10 times 12. And check. 120, 120. Both the numbers are equal. Both the numbers are equal. So, we can say that yes, these two fractions are equal. Okay. Now, the same thing, cross multiplication method will apply in the second fraction. 5 times 9 and 11 times 4. Do the normal multiplication. 5 times 9 is 45 and 44. Now check which is greater, 45 and 44. Definitely 45. So this will be a greater. The same side fraction will be greater. Okay. This cross multiplication, we can remove it now. So sequence is same. Okay. The first numerator multiply with the second denominator. The second denominator multiply with the first numerator. Okay. The same 5, 4 times 7 and 5 times 6. 4 times 7 will be 28. 5 times 6 will be 30. Definitely 30 is greater. So the same side fraction will be greater. So now we can see that there is 3 cases equal. Now this type of fraction is also called a unlike fraction. What is the difference here? Here is not denominator same. Here is the numerator same. See, 1, 1 is same, 2, 2 is same, like that. So in these type of fraction, which is greater? Any idea? Unlike fraction with the same denominator, we can see from these two examples, if the numerator is same in the two fraction, the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater of the two. Okay.
But how is the smaller denominator greater?
I tell you the explanation. But in like fraction with the same numerator, the fraction with the greater denominator will be smaller fraction. Okay, this is the concept. Now how? Let's see the experiment. Okay. Now see, when we need to compare three fractions, okay, and Reena was asked to select only one piece from any one of the given three pizzas, okay. So, which is the better selection? Which fraction is the bigger? Tell me, Reena, select which type of pizza? Half, 1/4 or 1/8? She will get the big pizza. One
Pizza is the most.
is the greatest one, right? So this is your answer. Because all three, you can see it here, all three, the numerators are same, right? but the smaller denominator will be bigger. Got it? Smaller denominator will be bigger. As I explained it, in unlike fraction with the same numerator, the fraction with the greater denominator will be the smaller fraction. Right? So this is the answer for your question. Why smaller denominator will be greater? So this is the answer. Okay? Understood the concept? So when the same thing, whenever you will use your two fractions with the same numerator, always remember the smaller denominator will be greater and a greater denominator will be smaller because the pieces will be small, right? Pieces will be small. So greater value. I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If you find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you have any query or needs practice question, please do let me know in comment. So in these two questions, when numerators are same, so among two fractions with the same numerator, the one with the smaller denominator is greater of the 2. So 3 is the smaller denominator, so this will be a greater. Here 3 and 5. 3 is the smaller, so 3 will be greater. So 1/3 is the greater than the 1/5. Same, 2/3 is the greater than the 2/5. Understood the concept? When denominators are same, then bigger numerator will be bigger. But when numerators are same, then smaller denominator will be bigger. Okay? Easy? We have given 5 fractions with the same numerator. Now you have to arrange in a ascending order or increasing order. Okay? On ascending order. So, arrange it accordingly because ascending increasing order means smallest one. Smallest one means when numerator is same, then greater denominator will be smaller. Right? So 2/13, then 2/9, then 2/7, 2/5, and 2/1. Right? But students does wrong in this sequence because they has doing the same like a normal fractions, but not. If numerators are same, so the sequence will change. The smaller, the greater denominator will be smaller. Okay. Same in descending order or decreasing order. The smallest one will be greater. Means smallest denominator will be greater. So 2/1, then 2/5, then 2/7, then 2/9, then 2/30. This is the sequence when numerators are same. Okay. So this is our question. 3/8, 5/6 and 7/12. And now you have to arrange in ascending or increasing order. Okay. Now we'll arrange it in the ascending order. So what is the process? What you will do? To compare more in more than two fractions, then first find LCM of all the denominators given in the fractions. Okay, so first we will find the LCM. 8, 6 and 12. Find the LCM. What is the LCM? Hmm. 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Right? So our LCM is 24. Okay? Now, what you will do? whatever fractions are given in the question, 3, 4, 5, right? You will write it in the same sequence like this, okay? And then 3/8, 5/6, and 7/12. Now, because unlike fraction, we need to make it the same denominator with the help of LCM. So what you will do? Multiply numerator and denominator of each fraction by the same suitable number so that denominator of each fraction become equal to the LCM in this. So our LCM is 24, so you will write it all the denominators 24 because we have taken LCM for the denominator same, right? Now, look at the board. Look at the board, ROA. 8 times what will give 28? You can check it here. If see, this is the simple number, but if not, then this table will help for this process. 8. So 8, 3, 2 times 2 times 2 times is 8. What is the remaining number? 3. So you can put it 3 in numerator and denominator, and 3 times 3 will be 9, right? 6 times what will give 24? Look at here. 2 times 3 will be 6. You just hide it 6. The remaining number you will multiply here. 4 is the remaining number. Same, 12 is here. So 3 times 2 times 2 times is 12. You will hide it. Remaining number is 2. You just multiply it. So 7 times 2 is 40. Now arrange it ascending, descending, any order. So given in the question, suppose arrange in the ascending order. So okay, you can arrange it. So ascending order means smallest one. So 9/24, then 14/24, then 20/24. Now this is not your original fraction. You have to convert your original fraction. 9/24 comes from 3/8. You will be converting the original fractions. Then 14/24 comes from 7/12. So you will write it 7/12. And then 20/24 comes from 5/6. So you will write 5/6. This is the increasing order method. Okay. Now, the topic is equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions means equivalent means equal, equivalent or valent means value. So, equal value. Equi means equal, valent means value. Okay. What does this mean? Fractions having the same value are called equivalent fraction. Equivalent fractions are fractions that equivalent fractions are fractions that that have the same value to represent the same part of an object. Now come to the example. First I am giving the pizza example. There are 4 pizzas, same shape.
So, like if you divide it, like 1/2 and 2/4 is the same.
Yeah, wait. I explain with the diagram. So you will understand the concept of equivalent. Now find the fractions 1/2, 2/4, 4/8 and 3/6, right? Okay. Now the shaded part of all four figures are same. How? Or same. Shaded part is same, right? Half part is shaded in all the figures, right? So fraction that represent the same portion of the whole are called equivalent fractions. Okay. And when you simplify it, so basically all are same. When you simplify, 1 over 2 is 1 over 2. 1 over 2 over 4, when you simplify, you will get 1 over 2, same, right? 4 over 8, when you simplify, you will get 1 over 2, same here, right? Then 3 over 6, when you simplify, you will get 1 over 2. So all the values are same when you simplify. So this thing is, we can make equivalent fraction by multiplying and dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number. So this ensured that the value of the fraction remains unchanged. So how? 1 over 2 is a basic fraction. 1 over 2, when you multiply, see, 2 and 2. So it will become 2 over 4. This is this, 2 over 4. Then 1 over 2, multiply 3 in both numerator and denominator, you will get the fourth fraction, 3 over 6. Same 1 over 2, when you multiply and divide with the 4, you will get 4 over 8 with the third, right? So the concept is, we can make equivalent fraction by multiplying and divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Here I am multiplying 2 with numerator and denominator. Here 3, here 4. So they are giving all the equivalent fraction of 1 over 2. Okay. So all are the connected. This is the basic concept of this. Only multiplying and divide. So here I am multiplying. You can, if you have any big number, right? So you can divide also. You can divide by 2, you can divide by 4, you can divide by 6, like that. You will get the equivalent fraction. But please note that if numerator and denominator of the fractions are multiplying and divide by the same number other than 0, then it will get the equivalent fraction, but not given the equivalent fraction by addition and subtraction. Okay, this is the very important. Okay, addition and subtraction is not given the equivalent fractions. Okay, only multiplication and division will give it. So equivalent fraction represent the same part of a whole. See, same part now. Half part, half part, half part, half part. But we have dividing individually 4, 6, 8 parts. But actually, all are the half parts, right? So the same part of a whole. So now the division example, okay? So 12 over 18 is given in the fraction. You have to find the equivalent fraction of 12 over 18. So how you will find it? First, 12 over 18, you will divide with any common number. Which will be the any common number? 2, right? You will be divide by 2 both the numbers 6 over 9. So this is the equivalent to 12 over 18. The other equivalent fraction, how you will find it? You will divide with the any common number. 3 is also divisible by 12 and 18 both, right? So when you divide it, you will get 4 over 6. Isn't it? Right? When you divide the third equivalent fraction we are finding, if possible, then definitely you will find. So 6. When you divide by 6, you will get 2 over 3. So the conclusion is, the 6 over 9, 4 over 6, 2 over 3, all are the equivalent fraction of 12 over 18. So, if the numerator and denominator of a fraction are multiplied or divided by the same number, okay, then we get an equivalent fraction like this. Same number, 2, 3, 6, then we will get the equivalent fraction. Understood? Like the previous example was 1 over 2 is the base number, right? So in that, suppose I am using this. 1/2 was the base number. You have to find the equivalent fraction of 1/2. So in that, what we have done it, 1/2 we will multiply with 2. So we get it 2/4. Second, 1/2 we will multiply with the 3. Any number you can multiply it. It's all up to you. You can multiply with 5, you can multiply with 10, you can multiply with 100, any number, 4/8. Just last example. So only multiply and division will work for the equivalent, equal number. So the concept is very clear. If the numerator and denominator of a fraction are multiplied or divide with the same number 2, 3, 4, here 2, 3, 6, same number in numerator and denominator, then we'll get these are 3 equivalent fraction of this. These 3 are equivalent fraction of this 1/2. Understood perfectly? Any confusion? So today's topic is properties of square root. The first property of square root is if your ones digit is, if the units place, okay, units place or ones digit, your ones digit of a number is 2, 3, 7, 8, okay, then it does not have a square root in natural number. Okay, same as a perfect square. For example, 152. 2 is at ones place na. You will never get a perfect square of this 152. Second example is 7, 6, 9, 3. 3 is at ones place. That means you will never get a perfect square of this. Okay. So this is the it's oh
Ipa. Tembiano.
so see all the units digit when we have 2, 3, 7 and 8 we don't have a perfect square. Never you will get a perfect square. If a number end in an odd number of zeros, then it does not have a square root. Okay, if a square number is followed by an even number of 0, it has a square root in each, which of the number of zeros in the end is half of the number of zeros in the number. For example, number and square of the number. So this is the second property. Second property is, so check odd number of 0 we have or even number of zeros. So if 10 is odd number of 0, right? So a square of the number is 100, right? If 20, odd number of 0. So the square of 400. Okay. Then 200 is there is an even number of 0. Now you will double the zeros. Okay. So there will be a 40,000. Okay. Then we have 2500. Even number of zeros because 2 zeros are here. 2 is even number. So the answer will be 625 with 4 zeros. Okay. Then 5,000. There is a 3 zeros in the 5,000. This is odd numbers. So odd numbers will be 5 square is 25 and there is a 6 zeros. And 20,000. There is a 4 zeros. So this will be a double zeros. So 4 and just you will do it opposite, then you will find the square root. Okay, so 100, the square root of 100 will be 10. The square root of 400 will be 20. The square root of 40,000 will be 200. The square root of 625, 4 zeros will be 2500. Like this. So you can just check the reverse process. So the concept is, if a number end in an odd number of zeros, odd numbers of zeros are, this is odd numbers of zeros, right? Here is odd numbers of zeros. Here is odd numbers of zeros. So in that case, it does not have a square root. If a square number is followed by an even number of zeros, okay, then it has a square root in which the number of zeros in the end is half of the number of zeros in the number. So basically, this is the opposite concept. See, you can see it here. All are the even number of zeros. So even number of zeros, when you convert it into the odd, then only even number of zeros has a square root. Basically, the concept is, if your square root is even, then only we have a square root. If there is a 1000, then there is a no square root. Then we have a 4 zeros, 20,000. Then we can easily find the easy 20,000, not possible. 4,000. So if we have a 4,000, we have a 200 zeros. If we have a odd number of zeros, then we don't have a square root. Then we have a even number of zero, then you will half of the zero will get it in the square root. This is the concept. How? Suppose 45,000. 45,000, because here is 30, no? So there is a no square root. Okay. Suppose 16,000. So 16,000, again we have an odd number of zeros. So that's why there is no square root. Same, if 90 is here, then there is no square root because it's a odd number of zeros. 1, 3, 3, 3. There is no square root. But when we have the even number of zeros, like 2 zeros are even, 4 zeros are even, now they have a square root. Understood? Third property is, the square root of an even square number is even, the odd number is odd. Okay? The square root of an even square number is even, and the square root of a odd number of square is odd. How? Look at the example. This is even number, so you will get the even square. Okay? This is the even number, so you will get the even. Suppose we have 9. 9 is the odd, so the odd is the square root. 49 is the odd, so the square root is 7, which is odd. Understood? So the square root of an even square is even, the square root of odd is odd. Simple. Suppose 121. The square root of 121 is 11. The square root of 81. So 9. Both are the odd. Take any example of even. 100. So the square root of 10, which is already or also in even, right? Alright. The properties. This concept is, if any digit with a end with a unit digit is 0, 1, 4 and 5, then definitely it must be a perfect square. Perfect square. Okay. So if a number has square root in natural number, then its units digit must be 0, 1, 4 and 9. For example, unit digit of a square or unit digit of square root. Okay. So unit digit of a square is suppose 0, 1, 4, 5 and 6 is also there and 9. So definitely the square will be 0 square will be 0 square root. Okay. And 1 is 1 or maybe 9. 4 is 2 or 8. Definitely you will get the square root of, and the unit place is 2 or 8. 5 is 5, 4 or 6 and 9 is 3 or 7. So you will get the square root and with these numbers. Okay. So the fifth property is negative numbers have no square root in the system of rational number. There is no system. All you will get the normal numbers. Suppose 2 square is 4, right? Same. 3 square is 9. 4 square is 16 and so on. Right? And 5, 6, 5, 8. Same, if you find the negative 4, negative 2 square, you will get it again 4. Why 4? Because negative 2 when you multiply yes, because even number of negative sign will give it positive only. So all the squares will give the even sign. So that's why negative 3 square will be the 9 only. Negative 4 square will be the 16 only. Negative 5 square will be a 25 and so on. I am not writing all. So on. So negative number have no square root in the system of rational number or any other number. So basically any negative number if you will find, you will get the positive square only. Okay.
One negative and one positive side.
Not in this case, no? You will get the same thing. See, this means that the square of a number, whether positive or negative, is always positive, right? Whether positive or negative will give it positive. Second thing, consequently, negative numbers are not perfect squares. Hence, negative numbers have no square root. Okay? Negative numbers has not a perfect square. That's why negative numbers have a no square roots, right? What does the sixth property says? The sum of first and odd natural numbers is n square. That means when you add 1, 3, 5, 7, see all are the odd numbers, na? When you added 2n minus 1, this is the higher grade concept, okay? Is always given the n square. What does this mean? Any odd number. Suppose you are adding 5 odd numbers. So it will be a 5 square will be a 25. The addition of 5 odd numbers is, see, I am giving one more example. Suppose sum of first 5 odd numbers. Tell me first 5 odd numbers. First 5 odd numbers are 1, 3,
1, 3, 5, 7,
9.
9.
9. So we are finding 5 now. So what? We are not adding in this process. We are just 5. N is replaced with 5. So 5 square will be a 25, right? And when you add it now, automatically you will get the 25. How? 1 plus 9 is 10. 7 plus 3 is 20 and 5. So total is 25 automatically. And if you will be square of the 5, you will get the 25. So the sum of add, odd and natural number is n square. You just add it.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like the videos and subscribe to my channel for more content like this.